Welcome back to the No Judge Necessary podcast, where we got the opinions like DC, we're crazy like KG, and we're as high as O'Malley. We're the podcast for fight fans that want to see fists fly and don't want to wait on the judges. I'm your host, Brick, and as always, my cornerman, Nil, Matty P, and Timmy. How we doing, boys?
What's going on, man?
What's good?
What's going on?
We got a full squad. We're out here. We got UFC back this week. It was a nice little break of like random shit last weekend. We had fucking kebabs promotion. We had what else was out there? A little Bellator action.
Did anyone actually watch that Bellator?
No,
I did. I actually did.
Did you?
Yeah.
Any takeaways from it?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty good. One of the guys I know is Sullivan Cauley fought on there. He won. He beat that big tuna dude. Then we had Benson Henderson win a very questionable decision over Khabib's guy. And then Ryan. I did not because I had money on that. And then Bader won against some Russian dude too. So it was actually not a bad night of fights. There were some good ones on there.
that shit was out here too.
Yep.
I saw that Khabib finally lost as a coach for the first time in his career. I was like, oh, yikes.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
I mean, it was definitely a close fight, but I thought Benson for sure lost rounds 2 and 3. But it is what it is. Every time it's a questionable decision, my bet is on that fight, and it's on the losing side every single time. It's just a fact.
Yeah, Matty P, you missed our talk last week where we kind of broke down hating on judges and possible solutions for that and everything. But this week, kind of how we said, there was a lot of sports action last week. So I did want to get into kind of a little bit of Super Bowl UFC talk, kind of fold that in. The first thing I wanted to talk about. So clearly Joe Burrow has kind of, taken over the world. He's sort of that guy, and he's just got that winning mentality, that winning swagger. And I kind of wanted to ask y'all, who in the UFC is like that guy? And I do want to kind of put a couple caveats on this because, obviously you got to be a winner. Obviously you got to have that confidence. But I think he does it in a way that's very, likable and not, it's not cocky, it's confident. You know what I mean? He's not just a dickhead talking shit, calling everyone out. He's just got it. You just look at him and you're like, that's the guy. Anyone who comes to mind?
Izzy.
Yeah, I was going to say, I see it differently. It's to me, I look at it as when this guy says he go win a fight, do you actually believe it? That's part of Joe Burrow. I believe, all right, he go in this game and win that shit. It's kind of the same. I agree with Matty P on Izzy. It's when he said that he was going to come in here, beat people up and win the belt, I believed it. Same with McGregor.
Yeah.
A lot of people come through and talk shit, and maybe they're not that way now, and they were, but I feel like the I don't care if he's a dick or not. It's different.
Yeah. But that's where I think it's different from some of these McGregor or Colby types that it's so divisive and in your face versus just a guy who just carries himself and you're just that's the man. That's the guy.
Yeah.
I think another guy like that. Another guy like that who I think would be one of the biggest stars in the world if he spoke perfect English is Davison Figueiredo. When he walks in the room, especially we've seen
a lot.
I mean, obviously he's on a little bit of a downturn of the wins, but he won his last one, but I think there's just a swagger. He throws on some glasses, he's got some style to him, and he just he commands an energy when he comes into the room.
Charles Oliveira.
I like all those takes, honestly, but the first person that jumped into my mind, I did think Izzy, but the first person who really came to mind was Usman. First of all, the reasons was just winner. And I guess I didn't look at it more from a swag perspective, but just more of a comparison. He has that winning swag about him. Wherever he goes, he wins. College, high school, pro, Usman, he just wins. And he almost has that confidence and that quiet swagger. But when people chirp him, he can play that game too. Because Burrow's humble as hell, but if somebody comes at him, he'll clap back on him. He's got some Twitter fingers and shit. So I to me, Usman, just because of the winning and that sort of just like that bovada he has, that just the confidence they both walk with.
Yeah, I agree with that. I like that. I like the Usman because he does just have that like champion. Like it doesn't matter who the opponent is. Like he's just coming in as the guy, and he's gonna just tell you, "I'm the guy." That's it. Like
to make
Usman
it harder,
was doubted a lot too. He was doubted a lot, and now nobody doubts him. Burrow's just getting to that status of like, oh shit, you really can't doubt this dude.
Well, that's what I was getting at. So Burrow isn't a champ yet. So let's take the champs out of the equation. Who could be in that mix?
Ooh,
that's a great point.
That's actually true. Yeah, he hasn't gotten the belt yet. So
exactly.
Who's up and coming
like
that has that kind of belief?
Yeah,
I mean,
sneaky.
Kamzat's right there.
Yeah, Kamzat's got to be there.
Yeah.
Sneaky definitely doesn't have the same swagger
he's
or
my
the
number
style,
one prospect of all time. So yeah,
Benny Dariush kind of carries himself that way.
A little bit.
He gets clowned a little bit too much online.
Like a beater T-shirt and calls it a day.
Right, yeah. He definitely don't have the wardrobe to kind of fit that profile. But the confidence in just himself, like
Blonde Brunson.
Ooh. Yeah.
Not Derek Brunson. Blonde Brunson.
Correct.
Big difference.
Massive difference.
Two different fighters.
Right. Like making a video with a stack of money, Blonde Brunson. Yeah.
And with this whole like, I'm an investor, I'm gonna tell these young cats how to like invest now because he's got some money. I don't know. You got me thinking now. Shit.
Dang.
Yeah,
who else?
It's a lot harder when it's not the champ.
Right, because I wouldn't even say like, again, like a guy like a Patty Pimblett or something who's kind of like in your face isn't the same guy. That's the guy who like wants to be the next. That's almost more of like a Pat Mahomes might be too early, but like maybe Justin Herbert or like one of those guys who it's like, they kind of want that attention and have always gotten it, versus just like Burrow who just commands the energy when he walks in the room.
Yeah, it's getting tougher and tougher. I don't know.
All I know is they got to add more prop bets to fucking UFC events. We can bet the color of Gatorade, and that's going to be dumped on the winning coach at the Super Bowl. I should be able to bet who's going to referee this fight. I should be able to bet all sorts of shit. There should be the most ridiculous. I should be able to bet whether or not the ref's going to be over a certain weight, like how many finishes there are in a card. There should be all kinds of random props that would just be right up my alley for fucking.
Now here's part of the problem. I think I agree though. Definitely want more props because I bet on some stupid fucking shit.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like fights get pulled and dropped and shit, and so much interchanges and happens that it's hard to like plan for
set
props.
a line.
Yeah, it's like
On
okay,
a full fight card.
We're gonna bet on this many fights being a knockout. Oh, well, 2 of them got COVID and they got pulled out, and then 1 of them didn't make weight, and it's like, well, fuck, we gotta adjust all this shit. Is it worth it?
Yeah, but I mean, I think it could be something where, like, because I mean, almost all other sports do this as well, other than like a Super Bowl or a big game like that. Like, you don't release the props until like 8 to 12 hours before the actual event. Like, it's only day of that you can actually bet props. You can always bet a money line, a week before, but you can't bet the props until. So I think, once it's like, hey, everyone has arrived, 4 or 5 hours out. It's 9 a.m. on, fight day. Like, we can set some lines now. And I completely agree. Like, and we could get fucking weird with it. Like Nil said, I can bet on how long the national anthem is at the Super Bowl, which I do pretty much yearly because that shit's electric. You look up the singer, you see if she's going to really hold them notes, and you bet the shit out of it.
You actually look up the singer too?
Oh, yeah. Oh, and like last year, there was someone who was outside the stadium and recording the rehearsal. So I bet the under and hit. But
well, let's go through. Let's all name our
we should be able to
want to see
in
the UFC. Let's all name a randomized prop we would want to see.
Well, that was what I was thinking is this might not be the number one that I want, but it's just weird. We should be able to bet on how long a walkout is. Like, again, they'd have to set something where it's like from doors open to when he hits the cage or something. But, that'd be interesting. Like, some dudes sprint to the cage. Some dudes, take their time with
the
it.
DC run to the cage.
Right. Yeah. I'm betting DC's under, but I'm betting Ty's over,
I think I know mine. I think mine would be very simple, very easy. Just like how you get an overtime bet in basketball or whatever. If you put on the card, one of these fights will be a draw. Bam, I'm smacking that a lot of times.
I like that. That's like on a whole thing, kind of like the safety bet or overtime. Like
the plus 1,000. Like one of these fights will be a draw, and it's a plus 1,000 every time. Like,
yeah, I like that.
I want to say by the certain submission. So like you could pick like not just submission, but rear naked choke or anaconda choke or fucking that kind of way.
That's tough.
I mean, it's just by finish. I can't bet this guy by rear naked choke in the second round. That pisses me off.
Knocks him out with the right or left hand.
Wow. I like that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
The
50-50.
two that I've always wanted, especially kind of how you were talking on the full card scale, is I've always wanted either an over-under of finishes on the whole card or over-under of fight time in the entire card.
The first one was what I was gonna say. That was literally that. That was the one I was gonna say. I like that a lot.
Sorry for stealing it.
No, it's all good. You had a great one. I was like, but that's exactly what I was thinking. If you could sort of bet the whole card type thing, like, how many knockouts or how many over under finishes, and
correct.
All that.
And honestly, and that's where I'm going to kind of put it at. That's where I'm going to kind of throw it to Tim on it.
The DQ, like
we bring him in as, I definitely would love the nut shot and the DQ.
You just take a DQ for the whole night, and it's like, plus 500, plus 600.
Yo,
yeah,
you're over like 8 nut shots for the night.
Yeah, and it has to be stopped by the ref to be an official nut shot, of course.
Gotcha.
I was gonna say the one thing when you were talking about the more props brick was, I would love them. There'd be more. I think for the books to want to put the time and the energy and the money into it, they do that for the Super Bowl because people bet on it, and it's one of the most popularly watched events in all the world. So it's like, when the UFC with their fan base, just would the books justify putting in all that work in theory to make those lines? As much as I want them,
my counter to that
might not.
My counter to that, and what I was going to kind of bring up and throw to you, Tim, because we bring you in as our quote unquote casual fan, but I think it's mutually beneficial for the books as well as the UFC if they can get more of these full card type props, because then say a guy like Tim who might not know everyone on the card can still feel like they're involved in the same way of like, you always have that one guy who comes over for the Super Bowl and he's just like, I bet the coin toss and the over. I don't know who the fuck is playing. I don't know what colors the teams are, but I want a lot of points, and I fucking, I bet heads. Like, that's where we need to kind of get to on UFC so that you can have that friend over and he can still be in on the fun.
You can't have that for every card. I guess so. It has to be on International Fight Week, July 7th, every year. It has to be. It has to be that pay-per-view.
Also, like, I guess my question.
Go ahead.
My question would be, why do the books care about UFC's popularity? Do you know what I'm trying to say? Why would the Borgata give a fuck about UFC's ratings?
Because Tyron Woodley was the third highest betted sporting event of the last calendar year. So
that's a reason. There you go. I was more just thinking why would they do that? Go out of their way. But that makes sense.
UFC fights every week, so if they can get 2 of those that are even close to Jake Paul Woodley and the gambling numbers, they'll do it.
And again, if their whole thing is drawing in new customers and just drawing in more money. So if they can get more, especially now that it's more legal, across the country and in multiple states, like when it was just Vegas, those incentives weren't as high because most of the people who are betting in Vegas are whales. And if they're going to be betting something, they're going to be betting it. You give them the lines or you take their action. Now that it's getting spread out to more, we have it out here in Arizona, New York, New Jersey, like Illinois. There's a bunch of states that now have legal gambling. So you're getting a lot more of the casual gamblers. And these books are fighting for these casual gamblers. So if you can bring in someone to throw money on something almost every Saturday, or at least once a month every Saturday, or once a month for a big pay-per-view or something, you're just drawing in more business that people don't have to be. And honestly, you're probably drawing in uninformed business, which is great for the book.
Yeah.
Like you don't know what you're saying. You're just saying, oh, I want to see knockouts. I'm going to bet over 7.5, and they take your money.
Right. No, I guess the only thing would be if they're already the third most bet sport and they're already making a ton of money off them. I just don't know how much more they would make by just adding all the work to build all those props and keep up with them and put them out and update them. Is that worth it for that extra money? Like, they're already killing it. Are you now? You might bet on that, but now your $100, you're going to still bet it on just random fights. Like they're still getting the money. I guess I just don't know how much it would actually increase. You could be right, and I also will say I don't know how much work it is for the books to maintain all this. It could be super easy and it's a fucking computer and it's whatever. But if it's labor intensive to come up with these lines, which I'm not sure. I honestly don't know. That's a huge factor.
If you go to your parlay right now, you can figure out the line of it being 7 knockouts by just picking 7 people that are most favored to knock them out. So I feel like they could do certain ones like that, where it's like
that's kind of where I was saying it's like they already have
knockouts. They could do that one pretty fast. But I think with other ones, like, is it a Kimura versus a rear naked choke? They're just going to be throwing out numbers. There's plus,
I guess it's as good as ours.
And that's something you always have to worry about when you're trying to do like gambling or a prop or something. Is it has to be a definitive winner. So if you get a weird, like, was that a triangle or was that a, rear naked, was that a Kimura? Like you'd have to have someone that's where I think it gets a little weird if you're trying to get specific finishes. Because then again, the book has to employ someone or a team that is making those decisions that, yes, that was a rear naked choke, payout.
I just hate when I'm like, yo, this guy gonna win by RNC in the 3rd round, and it happens, and I can't make money off it.
Right.
Well, I got a couple that they can do pretty easily. So what if they did last punch landed by an opponent? So like if Colby and Usman were fighting, if it goes to decision, it's the person who landed the last hit.
I love that.
Regardless.
That is a fantastic bet.
That's a
good bet that on every fight.
And then they could also do does it matter who the opponent is? Is it a left hand, a right hand, a left kick, or a right kick as the last strike landed in the fight?
Ooh.
They could do those, I think. Those are fun.
Yeah, I kind of like that. Yeah, because especially, too, that'd be like some buzzer beater shit where you don't know.
Punches are going to be worth, like, less because that's more likely, right? A right hand or a left hand.
Right.
If they're dominant right hand, you're expecting that jab, or if they're dominant left hand, you're expecting that right hand to be the most the most likely.
Yeah, what you're saying. If it's Usman, right hand is going to be plus 180, left hand's going to be plus 250.
And the feet are
right kick's going to be plus 800.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. I
Those
don't hate that.
What about a knee? What about a knee? What's a knee?
Bro, a knee or an elbow could be like plus 1,000 or 2, man. We could get those going.
That'd be lit.
And again, if I'm a book, because like Tim was saying, there needs to be incentive for the book to do this. If you give out more, and that's why they do it on the Super Bowl. If you give out more long range props, they're going to make money because. Especially inexperienced gamblers. And I mean, not even inexperienced, just gullible. Fuck, it's probably going to be me, so I shouldn't even be insulting the gambler. But when people see those big plus numbers, they get excited. And they're like, ooh, fuck.
The gambler just is like, yo, I got $20 in here. I'm trying to make some money. Let me throw 5 on Usman with a knee for the last shot to win. $300.
All the props, and they're gonna win because all the props aren't gonna hit. Everybody's gonna take
nobody's
not all of them are hitting.
No, most of them are not hitting. That's kind of my thing.
Yo, Barstool Sportsbook, where you at? Hire us, man. We got some ideas cooking.
How much money do you think they made on that Rams Patriots Super Bowl? What was it, 3-13? Like, people bet the over, and then also just all the like touchdown props and shit. Like nobody really scores. Like. They probably made a killing on that.
They probably cleaned up.
Absolutely.
I still remember that Super Bowl because I actually had the over, and I lost.
Of course,
that.
that's why it was 13-3.
I hit the Patriots, and then the only thing I had was Donta Hightower over tackles, and that hit because he had like 12 tackles. But all the rest of my props.
This is why sportsbooks will do it, because Disney probably owns a sportsbook or two in some way, somehow, and they also own the UFC.
I hope not. You're probably right.
So what makes one money is going to make another money, and they're just going to wash each other's hands, and it's all going to work out. And hopefully I want to see it start with like once or twice a year. Right. So these are like massive cards, like the first one of the year and like the fucking Midsummer Classic, like International Fight Week. Right. If it's something random like October 3rd, and they're just like, oh, it's like Kelvin Gastelum against some rando, and they're like, there's unlimited props. I don't know.
Yeah, that's where I don't think it should get to like Super Bowl level props where you can bet anything under the sun. But I do think some of our ideas of like these full card things or these weird, I think they just need more bets.
Who will wrap the belt around the champion?
If you technically don't know what you're talking about,
Sean Shelby or The Rock,
right?
Like,
but I do think it is one of those that what's it called? I do think they need more props and more lines for gamblers that, you know, don't listen to No Judges Necessary and don't understand the full card and don't know every single guy on it, but still just like, hey, you know, the fights are on at my buddy's house. I want to throw some action on this, like, you know, and instead of having to, you know, just randomly pick somebody or pick someone on the walkout, like, have some fun with it.
Yeah. I think they should add a few. Like, I think Matty P had a good point. I think you should just add a few that you can do. Some of them should just be a simple calculation on their part. You know what I mean? Like, just have a few more options and then add in a couple more cool ones, like you know, like the last punch, a couple fun ones like that, and I think they'd be fine. They definitely don't need to go to Super Bowl level. I think that's just not worth anybody's time. I don't think. Betting on the color of people's shorts and shit, like.
Right. What color suit is John Anik winning?
I love that.
I mean, I would be all in on stuff like that, where it's just like I'll bet on what color suit DC's wearing. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, give me a line, we'll hammer it.
Right. I just want them to be like a lot of sports.
Will they walk out with Earth Sugar or not?
Like, let's say this weekend, Sean Strickland and Jack Hermansson, right? If I said I wanted to bet on Sean Strickland anywhere past a round and a half, like, I wish it was that specific where I could do.
There's some books like that. They have some stuff like that.
It's still weird. It's like you pick round 2 or you pick 3.5 because that's the middle, or, you know, they make it weird. It's
they definitely need to expand it a little bit more where you can really, because I mean, in the same way, I can bet basically any point spread on a game right now.
Yeah,
I can buy points. I can get like better odds, worse odds. Like, they definitely need to expand those lines.
I mean, even like total strikes thrown by either side, they could do shit.
They need an over-under on that. Definitely. Like, total strikes landed, total takedowns, like, and you could do that. I agree that it is tough with how fights will drop out and stuff, but like, you could do any of those for a full card and that would be lit. Like, I see a lot of people who end in OV. I'm going to take the over on takedowns this week. You know, there's a lot of Russians on this card. I'm taking the over on takedowns.
Or an MMA specific sports book that like did wild shit like that, but didn't do any other sports.
That would not be profitable.
You said it's the third most profitable sport.
Yeah, that's true, but you just get eaten a lot. I mean, there's just such sharks in this game.
Let's hop into some fight news.
Yeah.
Bought out.
But anything else on kind of some Super Bowl UFC talk? Big week.
I had one just because you asked about Burrow, and I actually don't know one like this, and I was curious. You know, we've been talking about Matt Stafford and his, 12 years or 10 years or whatever, sucking in the dealing with the Lions franchise. I was going to ask, who's someone in the UFC who, had a long road, but eventually got to the top of their class. Someone who maybe had a bunch of L's at the beginning of their career and, showed flashes, but was never there. And then, somebody who finally sort of seems like they made it. Maybe they weren't a champion. Maybe they were. Somebody who finally made it after a long career of struggling.
Masvidal.
Masvidal. Okay, I like that.
I mean, if Masvidal's your number one answer, then Stafford's losing in a week.
Charles Oliveira.
I was literally thinking Charles.
But he didn't really switch teams. I'm also trying to think of someone who may have
or switched divisions.
Or switched divisions. Yeah, made one kind of switch that
that's another layer
now
to it.
it's
I wasn't
on.
even thinking
Changed his
of
mind.
Gilbert Burns, when he went to welterweight, had a little Matt Stafford in him.
Yeah,
for
Darren
sure.
Till switch. He never got to rid of the top.
Cowboy Cerrone, when he fought for the belt against Dos Anjos or Eddie Alvarez, whoever that was.
Yeah,
Back
that
in,
probably
like,
would have been
15
the
or
longest
16.
road to.
Yeah, Cowboy Cerrone, gotta be.
Carlos Condit when he finally got it.
Yeah, there's a few for sure.
There's a lot. Yeah, no, I just figured there's got to be somebody who like struggled and finally got there, but I couldn't think of any off the top of my head. So
Jan Blachowicz, even Jan Blachowicz started like 2-4 in the UFC and then won 6
that's
straight
a great one.
and got the belt.
And he started his new gym on his own in Poland with like Marcin Tibera. That's probably the best example. I like that, Jan Blachowicz, because he had a really tough start to his career.
Well, he just lost. So does that put anything into the future?
I mean, I don't know. Yeah,
staff over here.
Yeah, but at least he became champ at one point. So maybe he just loses next year after he wins this one.
Legends never die. He'll always be a champion. For sure.
I like that.
And then the only other one was about I was sort of curious, switching the question around, is like, who's the most like Conor McGregor in the NFL? Just whatever the hell that means. If you had to compare him to somebody.
Jalen Ramsey.
Antonio Brown.
That's close.
Yeah.
That's so damn. That's bang on with AB. It really is, bro.
Bro, every other week you're just like, please don't be in the news.
Right? And it's kind of the same thing with AB too, where like the news this week could be 2 touchdowns and 120 yards. Like it could be good news.
Right?
It's AB if AB had Jalen Ramsey's Twitter fingers and Ramsey never got humbled. If he was still just like rambling away.
Yeah, if Jalen Ramsey never played Tom Brady in a championship game in the AFC
I don't know.
Championship.
He used to DM his wide receiver.
But I mean, that's kind of actually.
He used to DM his opponent's girl and be like, "What's good?" before game day.
I mean, that's kind of similar to
your wife's
McGregor.
sending me DMs. That's literally McGregor.
As he's gotten older, like his trash talk's kind of turned down and been a little more calculated, kind of like Jalen Ramsey. Like when he came in the league, he was just saying whatever the fuck came to mind. Now he's a little more. You ask him a question, he'll let you know what he thinks.
Is he big enough? Is he a household name? That's another question.
Because McGregor
is Tom Brady to an extent is McGregor. Because everyone knows him. They think
is it Aaron Rodgers?
They think fucking Tom Brady. Oh, Aaron Rodgers. Jeez, don't tell me that shit.
The titles, Matt, like the sort of like always was sort of relevant, but never really won that much shit. Like, everybody knows
bang on with that.
Always in the NFC Championship game. He's always in that contender fight.
So
he's got a couple of controversial takes.
Ramsey, Brown, and Rodgers had a baby. That's Conor McGregor.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
I can live with that.
Yeah, if you took the personality of AB with the Twitter fingers of fucking Ramsey and the winning pedigree of Rodgers and put that together, that is McGregor.
Right. And that would be a great thing to leave off, but I did have one question that I just remembered and I wanted to kick it off with. So the last NFL thing. The NFL Skills Pro Bowl Challenge happened today. Most people don't give a shit about it, but there was one moment that I did notice. Micah Parsons beat Tyreek Hill in a 40-yard dash, which is one of the most terrifying things I've ever seen. Go on Twitter, definitely find that. But my question is, who do you think in the UFC would have the fastest 40-yard dash?
Fucking hell.
It's not like really a sport that we see these guys full on sprint, but like clearly we got some athletes.
I feel like DC's the only guy I've seen sprint, and that's from the back room to the fucking cage.
I got to look up this Tyreek Hill video. I'm sorry. He beat him?
Yeah. With his shirt off.
Well, we know the Diaz brothers run marathons, but that doesn't account. That doesn't make any sense.
That's not quick.
and they smoke too much pot. I think it's going to be a surprise a little bit. I think it's going to be someone a little thicker than we think.
That's what I'm kind of thinking because like when you really,
I bet Surreal Gone randomly runs a fast 40. Like
that's kind of what I was more thinking because we always think of athletes by sport differently. Like Dom Reyes might be up there.
I mean, he's
bro, we got to
know who's got a clock 40.
Like varsity high school.
Looked like Tyreek slipped a little bit.
He said,
"Yo, what about
varsity?"
I mean, you'd probably know it better, but
Greg Hardy,
Eric Anders,
Crazy.
Anders looks like
he could probably get moving. I mean, Izzy's probably.
I
bet Kevin Holland's randomly fast as fuck.
I feel like Terrence McKinney got wheels.
Yeah.
Any Jamaicans? Any Jamaicans in the UFC?
Rob Font, kind of.
Rob Font, I can see that.
Rob Font, yeah. I almost feel like it does have to be one of the bigger guys because
Cody Garbrandt's fast as fuck.
But I feel like he got the little legs. He's like that Wes Welker fast. Like think about the guys who are actually running top 40s. They're like 6'1", 6'2", like 195, 205 type guys in the NFL. So these are, what we call a unit in the UFC is like
a running back,
is a safety. Like
right. I was gonna say Holloway, but I feel like he's like looks too. I don't know. He might be too lanky.
That's what I was saying. Holland's probably fast as fuck.
Who could run a good 40? That's a great question.
Brunson?
Definitely not Usman. His knees are fucked.
No. Tai Tuivasa.
Man.
I don't know. He played some football.
Yo, Volk played rugby. Now thinned down.
I bet Cody's faster than Volk.
Yeah.
I feel like Volk's slow.
Yeah, he was more of a unit.
Yeah, he was like 300 pounds. Bro.
Right. I was just kind of thinking because maybe he slimmed down, he gets a little faster.
Nah, he's still slow.
What about?
I could see like Charles Oliveira having
Anderson
some of that.
Silva.
Like he probably played like left back at one point. Like,
Anderson Silva probably just got burners.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be shocked at like 47 if he's still faster than everybody.
I thought Whitaker could be pretty fast.
I can see him moving.
Yoel Romero just runs like 4.2.
That's terrifying. Like, no, he's that 4'8", but he's a nasty sideline to sideline linebacker.
What about Masvidal?
Maybe.
Too drunk.
Nah, but he's been running from a lot of shit, though.
That's true. He always been running.
Like, he's got good escapability, fam.
That's what I'm saying.
Nah, Masvidal's got the best 3-cone drill.
He's just out.
Yep.
Masvidal could be up there.
Yeah, I could see that.
That was a good question.
That was a good question, but let's move on.
Yep.
This podcast is sponsored by Earth Sugar. It's a first-of-your-kind superfood confectionery based right out here in Phoenix, Arizona that specializes in raw organic desserts, energy snacks, and clean-labeled confections. Use the promo code NOJUDGES to get 25% off all Earth Sugar products, including their this is an old ad read. We do no longer have the holiday box, but they do have the mix and match box now. Including the whole caramel candy micro cake, which is fire.
Big love.
Big in on Earth Sugar. So check out loveearthsugar.com. Great if you're training or if you're just trying to get off the Oreos.
It's a perfect gift for fucking Valentine's Day.
Yeah, honestly,
send this shit
Valentine's
out,
Day
nice
coming up.
Easy cake, like easy treats.
And it's a new brand, especially if you're not in the Phoenix area. It's getting pretty popular out here, but it does ship nationwide. If you're somewhere not in, I know we got a lot of friends out in Boston. You get people Earth Sugar, they don't even know what it is. And bang, that's you're gonna absolutely win Valentine's Day.
Bro, it's healthy. It's like a healthy meal at like unhealthy price or like a healthy price. It's like a trick. You think it's fucking health.
You think it's candy.
You think it's a chocolate cake, but it's essentially healthy as can be for you. So earthsugar.com or loveearthsugar.com. Let's get this money. Everybody make money.
Let's get into some MMA news. We got some big news in one championship, right?
Yes, we do. We have
And
massive
let's knock
news.
that out. Let's knock out the one so we can not mix and match here.
All right. First off, one championship, The Apprentice. We talked about this about a year ago because it was originally released in Singapore and across Asia. And it has now been released to the US and it is on Netflix. Basically, the owner, Chaudhry, he's kind of the Dana White of one championship, was looking for like a right-hand man, kind of McMaynard type guy. So he set up this kind of reality show where they go through apprentice-like challenges to find out who his next right-hand man will be. So we're thinking about possibly doing some maybe either live watches or recaps of some episodes. But 6 weeks from now, they just announced there's going to be a massive card, and that's when they're going to reveal their new right-hand man, and Nil is going to get into that massive card that was just announced.
Yep, so massive card announced for Saturday, March 26th. It's the 10-year anniversary of one championship. It is 1X. It is an absolute crazy card. From what I understand, there's going to be 24 fights on this card. It's going to be massive, the biggest card in the history of fight promotion. It's going to have all sorts of fights ranging from kickboxing to Muay Thai to MMA. And right now, there has only been 7 fights announced, and Chaudhry is going on social media asking the fans what fights they want added. So I'm sure the fans are going to have a big input on a lot of these fights. But the main event, it's a special rule
Before
set
he
super
goes
fight.
into the fights, I got to say, I saw this drop on Twitter this morning, and I didn't realize that this was 7 of 24. Just these 7 alone, I thought it was going to be the greatest one championship card of all time.
It is. It's
Well,
by
what is
far
it
going
going
to
to
be.
start at like 2 a.m.?
Probably. But it's not
Probably.
going to matter.
But it will
Hey.
be on YouTube.
Hey, that's my birthday weekend. I'm getting fucked up and watching some fights.
Come on over. Let's do a live stream for it. Let's get hammered at like 2 a.m. We'll just play through.
All right, but let me announce you this card. We got a special rules super fight in the main event. Rodtang Jitmongnong, legend in the Muay Thai game. He's going to be taking on Demetrius Johnson, the former UFC star. They're going to be fighting in a super fight rule set. It's going to be 4 rounds. Rounds 1 and 3 are going to be Muay Thai. Rounds 2 and 4 are going to be mixed martial arts. This is going to be absolute chaos. Rodtang is the hottest KO artist in Muay Thai today at 125 pounds, which you don't usually see. An absolute savage, but he's taken on a 12-time world champion in Demetrius Johnson. We also got the World Women's Atomweight MMA Championship. We got Victoria Lee taking on Stamp Fairtex. That's going to be an absolute great fight. Stamp Fairtex won the Grand Prix to get this shot, so it's going to be a crazy matchup there. We got the Flyweight World Championship of the world in MMA. Adriano Moraes taking on Wakamatsu. Wakamatsu, they call him the Little Piranha. Dude is a savage with the ground games, but Moraes, 12-time BJJ world champion, and he just knocked out Demetrius Johnson. First time Demetrius Johnson had ever been KO'd, so you can't sleep on Moraes in this fight. Then we got Bantamweight Muay Thai World Championship. We got Nongo taking on Ramazanov. This is an absolute great fight again. Nongo is a legend in the Muay Thai world, and he's coming to prove it.
Someone's going to sleep in that.
Oh, 100%. He just went toe-to-toe with John Wayne Parr's protege and whooped his ass pretty much. Yeah, it was toe-to-toe in the beginning, but at the end of the fight, he whooped his ass, and that's impressive. And then we got women's atomweight. We got Ham taking on Zambagoa 2. The first fight was chaos, absolute hectic, and they're going to run it back on a main card. And then we got the featherweight kickboxing world Grand Prix championship final. Alazov taking on Sidichai. Sidichai, again, another one of these Thai guys who's been around since the early 90s, probably over 300 fights.
If y'all want to learn about Muay Thai, because I know especially you two are not as into it, that's a perfect fight to watch because Alazov is an absolute killer.
It's new money versus old money.
Exactly. He's an absolute power striker. He just throws absolute bombs. And then Sidichai is a fucking tactician. This dude just picks you apart and hits every single organ in your body. and it's going to be, a Lamborghini running into a tank, and I just don't know what's going to happen.
And then we got the first fight of the main card, the legend Nikki Holskin taking on Murtazaev. I mean, you think Dutch kickboxing, it's Nikki Holskin's probably the first guy you think of. Or his old trainer, I forget the guy's name. But, yeah, and he's taking on Murtazaev, Tiger Muay Thai prospect who's earned his right to be in the final. Just came off a surprising KO win to get here. So, shit.
I recently saw a couple of videos with him and Fiziev going at it, and it kind of looks like the Petr Yan videos, and I'm like, uh-oh, we have another one.
So, yeah, I'm big excited for this card. I'm also excited that the fans are going to have input. I'm definitely going to be trying to get our boy Troy Worthen on this card. We need to get Buchecha on this card as well. Shout them out and try to get them fights. I think Buchecha should fight Rugru. I'm going to throw it into the atmosphere right now. That's a great fight. Rugru coming off a loss. Let's see who's the better grappler. Someone get my boy Buchecha a fight. And yeah, let's get it.
I would love that. And leading into this card, if y'all want some preview on the co-main event, Stamp Fairtex versus Ritu Fogat, the Grand Prix final, was an incredible fight, and Stamp Fairtex won on an armbar. So if you want to get a little insight on that, that's on YouTube. Definitely check that out. What other MMA news we got?
Yeah, sorry, I just ranting on my one shit.
I got a question.
All right,
no, you go. Sorry, I didn't hear you say Matt. I thought you said Tim. Go on,
let me hear the question.
No, I'm just gonna ask the general question to lead into this, whole discussion. Again, as you guys know, I'm getting more into the UFC more and more, but still consider myself a moderate fan. It's not like the NFL where I don't miss a weekend. Why do I have to tune in this week? I recognize a few names, but it's not jumping out to me like the card did a couple weeks ago, where I'm like, I have to watch this. Like, this is what I'm doing Saturday night.
I think.
Why is this? Why do I have to book Saturday night for UFC?
I think I have the best answer for this because almost everyone in this card is people that I would gladly watch fight again. That's, I think, it comes down to the bottom line. Is every time, win, lose, or draw, when I see some of these people fight, I'm like, yo, next fight, I'm so down for when you fight again. Like, it's just, they're not the greatest in the world. They're not maybe the household names. But every time I see some of these people step in the cage, I'm always, like, excited.
Right. Yeah, and I think they did a great job with these matchups. A lot of these matchups are like, ooh, okay, you don't know, you may not know their names, but a lot of these matchups, they say styles make fights, and a lot of them have that kind of going for them. So it should be one of those slept-on cards, I think. Not every card that sucks is a sleeper. Sometimes the card just sucks. This is one of them that I think is a sleeper, and there's some really good fights on here.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the guys on this card as well are on the up and coming. So I think there's a lot of like what I kind of call like prove it fights or like shit or get off the pot type fights. And it's like there's going to be a lot of guys that it's like, okay, you've done something, but do we know if you're real yet? And we're going to put you against another guy who's exactly like that.
There's going to be a lot of musical chairs to see if you belong at the contender table or if you even belong at the UFC. A lot of those kind of fights of like, hey, you're about to sit at the big dog table. Do you really belong here?
And something really excites me about those kind of fights because, obviously when you get to that top level, it's something different. But like, a Conor McGregor started somewhere, these Usman, they started somewhere. So these are the opportunities to, make that impact into, like you could get cut or ranked tonight, like that's where it's in. I feel like that kind of shows what a fighter is.
The biggest bonus of all is that their most hated person is fighting Sam Alvey.
Yep. Okay, we got to break it down before we get into it.
They have been talking shit about Sam Alvey for the whole time the pod's been going. That's their arch nemesis that they picked, and it's funny to watch him survive in the UFC, even though he's lost like 6 fights in a row.
It's because he fucking carries Dana's fucking water. It's because he's a bitch for the UFC, and they'll just give him a lifetime contract because
But he's
he'll
smiling,
gargle
guys,
their
so who cares?
balls
He's
whenever
smiling,
he
though.
wants.
So, but nobody takes fighting as serious as him. You know, it's just this guy's a clown. I can't stand him. I tried to troll him, and he was like, "Bro, nobody takes fighting as seriously as I do. You're a fucking idiot." And all he does is just keep responding and being a fucking dumbass and losing fights. If he really said what he was about, he would get back in the gym. And he's like, "I'm not butthurt," and he's like reposting me everywhere he goes. Like, this kid's a troll. This kid's an asshole. Fuck
Right.
Sam Alvey, dude. Go back in the gym and train if I'm really up your fucking skin. Or pull
You
a
guys
Kevin-
make me like Sam Alvey. That,
Nah,
I like
dude,
it.
fuck
I like
Sam
it.
Alvey.
I'm liking this guy more and more every time you talk. I don't even really know this dude. I
Fuck
like him
this
now.
guy. Nah, dude, he's an asshole.
All right, I'm betting the mortgage on him.
All right, but let's go. Let's hop into some pre-fight diaries.
All right, I'll save the rest of my. Sam
There's not
Alvey.
much news, to
So-
be honest. I mean,
No, but
So what I'm
You
hearing
do-
was the answer to that question. Why do I care? There's a lot of interesting matchups, a lot of young and up and coming people. It's going to be entertaining. So it's sort of like not to kill the football analogies, but it's sort of like a Chargers Vikings game where like it sort of doesn't look sexy, but probably going to be a shit show, entertaining game where you get pleasantly surprised. You're like, oh shit, this went into overtime. It's 31-31. Like you're going to get that wild factor with two maybe middle of the road, sort of type of team.
there's some ugly plays, there's some turnovers, but there was
There's
also
some
sick
great
like,
plays.
shit, Justin
Great
Jefferson with the
entertainment.
75.
Great
Like,
entertainment.
oh, shit.
And both might have like playoff aspirations. Like they're both middle of the pack. Like big, it
for
matters
sure.
for them. I feel like that's cool. All right, well, I'll have to
No
tune
doubt.
in.
Before we hop into pre-fight diaries, No Judges Necessary is also presented by Acosta Clothing, the hottest streetwear and high fashion brand coming out of the Bay Area, California. They specialize in a range of quality backpacks and accessories. Acosta Clothing has been worn by some of the top MMA fighters, such as Dom Cruz, our boy who is going to be fighting this weekend, Mean Hakeem Dawodu, and Ray Waters. You can find them at AcostaClothing.com or on Instagram at Acosta Clothing. So let's get into it. Nil, who we got as our first fight?
All right, let's go. Pre-fight diary time. We got Malcolm Gordon, 13-5 out of Canada, taking on Dennis Bondar, 16-3 out of the Ukraine. This is in the flyweight division. First fight of the night. We got any opening bell thoughts?
My opening bell thoughts is that the prelims got a lot of Canadians, eh?
Yeah?
yeah, well, this Canadian, I think, is going to get fucked up. I got Dennis Bondar all day.
100%. 100%. Just looking at the records.
Gordon's chin is very suspect, man. I don't know. I just got this other guy. I don't even know much about Dennis, and he spells his name weird. But
Yeah, I was trying to look this up, and because I will preface, especially as we get into this prelims, like I am Canadian. I usually bet on Canadian fighters, but I have been getting screwed on that lately. And the more I talk about it on the podcast, the more I do research on the other side, just so I don't bet too much on said Canadian. But I don't know, Dennis Bondar has been winning, but he's been winning at Road to WWFC in Ukraine. And I mean, with the current situation, I'm not saying that the people of Ukraine aren't tough, but
Dude, that almost
I just-
improves his stock.
Does
What?
it?
Yes.
I
You're
was
fighting at
gonna
a
say.
low-level MMA promotion in Ukraine. You're not telling me that that's better than fighting in Missouri?
probably.
I was gonna say I don't know much about either of these, but anybody with the name Bondar, I'm all in on that. One and two, go Ukraine. So once you said he's from Ukraine, like come on, we got not to
he
get this
takes
turn this into a political podcast, but come on, you got to
He
ride
takes
in
the
Ukraine.
style that I like. You take your licks outside of the UFC, you prove it and earn it, and then come here. This
Yeah,
dude
but-
lost 2 straight fights and then won 8 out of 9 by finish. I'll take that all day against Malcolm Gordon.
Yeah.
Not even blink an eye against that.
The only thing I'd like to see
No.
though is I would have liked to see one more step to a slightly bigger promotion, even in Europe. Like give me a Cage Warriors fight, give me something. But I
That's
will
what
say,
Gordon basically is, though.
yeah, I guess so. And
I mean,
I
this
will
guy
say,
came off TKO 47. What the fuck is that? That was his promotion. And he's just 1 and 2. This is a
and
easy
clearly
ass
the
fight.
UFC sees something in him because he's had
I bet you
3
Bondar's his
canceled
favorite.
He's had 3 canceled bouts: Odie Osborne, Victor Rodriguez, and Malcolm Gordon. So, like, they've been trying to give him a half-decent opponent, so they do see something in him. And you are right. Dennis Bondar is a minus 250 favorite.
Yeah, bro. I kind of figured that just off the similar records, like similar amount of fights. What, 18 to 19? Nobody's going to have the wealth of experience. Bondar more wins. I feel like he's going to murder this guy the more we dive into this.
Yeah, probably. I just don't
Go
want.
Bondar. Go Bondar.
That's going to screw up my whole Canadian flow, right from the jump. Next fight.
Next fight, we got the Vanilla Gorilla, Jason Witt, 19-7 out of the USA, taking on Philip Rowe. Let me get a nickname on him. He's got a good one. The Fresh Prince, Philip Rowe, 8-3, also out of the USA. This is a welterweight fight.
I mean, nickname battle off the jump. Philip Rowe. The Vanilla Gorilla kind of stinks. Like,
it's
right?
almost so bad it's good, but yeah, it's almost like to the level it's so bad it's good, but
yeah,
the reach advantage in this fight is insane. Jason Witt has a 70-inch reach. Philip Rowe has an 80.5-inch reach.
I'm interested in this Philip Rowe cat. I mean,
saying that, I still think Witt gets it done with some wrestling, and dude's gonna get pinned on his back probably for 2 out of the 3 rounds. But I probably won't put too much on this fight, to be honest. I don't know too much about Rowe.
I mean, if Rowe's Tapology record says anything, he's lost 4 straight grappling matches. So I don't like what you just said with the takedowns there.
Yeah.
That makes me very worried. But I do like him in this fight. I think him training at MMA Masters with Colby and Perry and them in Miami, I think there's something to it. I like what I've seen. But
yeah, he's got
this is a tough fight.
He's got a real nice raw striking game that if he can clean up, he could become a legitimate, I see a lot of young Kevin Holland in him, where he has that precision striking. He's just got to figure out how to use it. But he doesn't have the wrestling or the takedown defense that.
This is going to be a Philip Rowe first-round knockout or a Jason Witt decision for sure, I think.
Yeah, Philip Rowe's actually coming in as a slight favorite, minus 141. Jason Witt plus 115. I kind of think there's a little value in Witt there.
That's what I'm saying, man.
I don't know too much about either guy. My gut says go with Rowe, so that means the Jason Witt will win. I'll probably end up betting Rowe, so everybody bet.
I will also say there is something that I don't like about Jason Witt because it's way too close to Jason Witten, and a bad nickname like Vanilla Gorilla just makes me think of when Jason Witten was just standing in the press box looking like a robot. That's just kind of what I think when I hear Jason Witt. But anyways, next fight.
All right, next fight. We're getting into light heavyweights. We got Danilo Marquez, 11-3 out of Brazil, taking on Yalton Almeida, 14-2, also out of Brazil. I gotta be real, bro. I don't got shit on this fight.
Right.
I ain't got nothing.
I'm going with
Yalton Almeida.
Yeah, just because. No backup, no anything.
I was actually just when I was doing a little bit of research on this, Yalton Almeida, I believe this is either his debut or second fight in the UFC. Danilo Marquez got 2 wins off kind of trash bags, Ibrahimov and then Mike Rodriguez. And then he got knocked out by Kennedy and Chukwe. And I think that's why everyone's low on him. But this is really where I am backing Marquez. Marquez is a plus 320 underdog here. And I just don't think that this fight is that much of a he shouldn't be that much of a favorite. Minus 435 on Yalton Almeida. 3.5 people on this podcast don't know who Yalton Almeida are.
Ooh, looking at this Almeida guy, he is a fucking boa constrictor. This dude's choking out everybody.
Yeah.
I'm going with the Brazilian boa constrictor.
But I don't know.
Correct.
I mean, Danilo Marquez, now granted, not the longest career ever, but he has never been finished by submission.
Until Saturday.
Fair. Oh, actually, He did get rear naked choked in a grappling match 4 months ago. There it is.
What are the odds again?
Minus 435 by Yalton Almeida.
Yeah.
But let's see.
I
if
feel
we
like
can
this is
maybe
going to be one of these classic Brazilian submission guys who comes out round one, throws everything into the sink, and then just it's gassed in round
Yalton
two.
Almeida by submission plus 125.
That's good.
That's a
your
little
juice.
juice if you actually want to, if you think he is really the anaconda. But next
Like I
fight.
said, I didn't hear about him until we just looked him
Next
up.
fight, we're getting in the female bantamweight division. We got Alexis Davis, 20-11 out of Canada, taking on Julia Stoliarenko, 9-5-1 out of what country is this? Anyone got me here? Nope.
Belarus, I believe.
Nope, Lithuania.
Lithuania. Oh,
Female
Tim, where were
bantamweight
you at?
fight.
I was just got your text up from I was just like trying to zoom in on my phone.
Oh yeah, you're just blind.
All right, well, you know who I got. I'll lead off. Yep, Lithuania. I don't know anything, but I'm riding my ancestors. Let's go. Colin.
This is a tough fight. Alex Davis is definitely proven, but she's been on and off. She'll lose like half her fights, I feel like. She loses to anyone that's going to be decent. So,
Yeah, I'm not sold on sorry,
Stoliarenko?
Tim, but I'm not sold on Stoliarenko. And this is really, I think this is the like winner get cut type fight. Like, and maybe that back against the wall, maybe it does give you that little bit of a motivation. And obviously we have seen Alexis Davis can be beat, but you got to earn that.
Realistically, she's probably already cut before this fight even happened.
Yeah, that's true. Probably just
now she wins by knockout.
Correct.
That tie does look
true.
ugly, though. The tie looks ugly, no matter what sport it is. The tie always looks ugly.
Yeah,
especially when it's
doesn't look
that.
right.
Especially when it's that early in your career. When it's
if you're like
everything's
24-9-1,
yeah, who cares? Like you've been around the block, shit happens.
There's someone that's got like 3, bro.
Oh,
There's somebody, or it was.
It's a woman's
maybe, I don't know,
fighter.
but whatever.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
But Alexis Davis is a minus 225, and Tim is going to get plus 175 on Julia.
Juicy.
Little extra juice.
Yeah, I mean, I think Alexis Davis, with the wealth of experience, has been around, started the female MMA division. I just think it's going to be too much.
I will say it does kind of scare me because she is as much of a favorite. I mean, deservedly so, but it does smell like, a Canadian fighter that's much of a favorite. I'm going to slip it into a lot of parlays, and that's when danger starts happening.
Okay.
But next fight, we got more Canadian swag.
Yep, we got Marc-Andre Baralt, 13-4 out of Canada, taking on Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and Joe Connie, 20-7 out of the USA. This guy with the all-time nickname. This is middleweight division. I'm taking Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
I just got to throw it out there. He got a fire nickname, but he don't even need a nickname. His government name is Chitty Godson and Chukwe Ani. Like, that's the strongest name I've ever heard. Like, Jesus.
Yeah, that's legit.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know much of Chitty, but I remember that other guy. What's his name?
Baralt.
Yeah, the Canadian dude, Mark
Marc-Andre.
Marc-Andre.
And I remember, I'm pretty sure that guy's pretty solid. Like, I that's all I kind of remember. Is he a good grappler, or what is up with this?
No, I think this is going to be kind of a classic middleweight striking matchup. Like, I
got Chitty all day if that's what's going on. Actually, this fight scares me. I'm just going to bet on like a knockout.
So Marc-Andre Baralt came into the UFC, had 3 straight losses, and then had a no contest, and now he's won 2 straight.
Mm-hmm.
So put that in a
Chitty's knocking him out.
Yeah, I'm going with fight does not go the distance because I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Fight does not go the distance. You're getting plus 105 on that.
Woo!
And this fight is also actually pretty close. Barrio coming in at a minus 122, and you're getting even odds on Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Bang, bang.
All right.
Yeah,
Next
I kinda
fight.
like that.
Yeah?
You know what I'm betting
next
this
fight.
next fight.
I mean, yeah. Next fight's a banger. We got Hakeem Dawodu, 12-2 and 1 out of Canada, taking on Mike Trizano, 9-1 out of the USA. Featherweight fight. I mean,
It just has to be
Matty P
said.
started.
I'm
I
putting
mean,
the house on Hakeem, baby. I'm putting
let's
the on
go.
Hakeem.
I mean, he
Trizano
indirectly sponsors this podcast, so we have to ride with our dog Hakeem. He
And
is
he just-
Canadian, and he's a
Trizano-
badass.
And Trizano was not. He was in the Ultimate Fighter, right? That's where
Mhm.
Yep.
Yep.
I was not impressed by anybody in that Ultimate Fighter season. I'm sorry. None of them I thought were going to be like the next big deal.
No.
Hakeem,
Except for maybe
Hakeem
one
is-
person who we'll talk about later.
oh, the guy who got hurt.
Yeah.
But Hakeem is legit. He's a top 10, top 15 guy to me in that featherweight. Ooh, featherweight stuff. Top 15 guy right now.
Yeah.
Almost. Trizano's not going to have shit for him. His
I
wrestling.
think this is going to
is
be
not
one of
gonna get
those. I really think it's going to be one of those classic, like, this is that, back to our NFL analogies, this is the when you step into the league. Like, Mike Trizano had a decent college career. Like, he looked good on that little,
They're doing him dirty.
that little movie. But
Now
he going to see the speed
What
of
are-
the
what are
NFL.
the
He going to see the
odds on this
speed of the UFC. And I think Dawodu is just miles ahead of any striker that he's ever seen.
I
What are
just
the
feel-
odds on this thing?
I just feel like every
USA.
time you bet
USA.
against Mike Trizano, you fucking lose. This guy is called
Unless
the
it was
lone wolf
last-
for a reason because every time you think he's gonna fucking lose, this dude pops a dub out the clouds, bro. Every time I bet against this guy, and he always proves me wrong, bro. Finds the grimiest, dirtiest way to just win a decision. That's
Bro,
like what he
homie got
does.
choked out by Grant Dawson.
Grant
Like a
Dawson's
fight ago.
legit.
Like a fight ago.
I feel like this is gonna go the distance and Mike Trizano by split, and we're all gonna be like, "Ew, fuck!" Like it's just grimy Mike Lone Wolf Trizano.
Mikey
He's just the
T,
fucking
dude. Mikey T
Yeah.
gonna come through.
literally. He's just Mike ET, bro.
Me and
What are the
Maggie are
odds- What are
disgusted.
the odds on this thing?
Dawodu coming in at a minus 182 favorite. Mike Trizano's a plus 145.
Like this guy
That's
just
terrible.
climbs away to victory, bro.
That is scary.
It's just fuck. Like I don't know.
I mean, that might be my.
That's my lock.
Yeah,
Oh, I love this even more.
I think that's going to be my Canadian parlay. I
Mo-
think I'm
Miles-
only going to do
Miles
2 out of 4.
Arulov was barely getting Dawodu down, and he's like a Russian wrestler, and he was having trouble getting Dawodu down by the end.
Mm-hmm.
Trizano ain't gonna take him down. Trizano just gonna fuck around and somehow kept it.
Is Hakeem still training out here?
Nah, Hakeem trains in what's it called? I thought he trained in Canada.
Is he still? Oh yeah, he's still fighting out of Calgary. Huh.
I
Okay.
got Mikey T, bro.
Nah, this is the Canadian dream. Let's go.
Canadian Dream's a
Team with
knockoff
the-
of the American Dream. Mikey T by
Yeah,
by
it's just-
knockout.
It's just basically the same. It's the same promises, just with healthcare.
Whoa.
All right.
Grounded.
Maybe Mike Trizano dirty. They should have thrown him.
That's
somewhere
kind of how I
else.
feel about the next fight, honestly.
Yeah.
Miles Johns 12-1 versus John Castaneda 18-5. This is like the fight that was promised without healthcare. Like I don't know. It's just like wah.
I don't know. I kind of like Chapo. I think Miles Johns is legit.
Yeah, I do too, and I think he's gonna fucking mop the floor with Castaneda.
Yeah, I'm
And that's why
surprised
I'm
this
not like
isn't the
Juice.
biggest favorite on the card. He
Miles
is a
is?
favorite.
Yeah, what's the line?
No, I'm surprised it's not. He's minus 220. I thought it was going to be a 400 or 500. I don't see how John
You never said
Castaneda
Vegas
wins this
favorite,
fight.
fam.
I think
Vegas
it's
knows
because,
something.
I think it's because Castaneda or whatever has a pretty. I think he has like a 5 or 6 inch reach advantage. So maybe if they're thinking he can get a slither in there, stay back, get a KO, because Johns is gonna have to come in and get close.
Yeah, that seems like a terrible time for him.
Yeah, no, I got.
But
Johns. I definitely have Johns, but I'm saying I think that's why the odds aren't as drastic
Yeah.
because of that reach.
Yeah, I mean, he lost to Nathaniel Wood. He lost to Jose Alde. Like, these are not very good fighters. Yeah, he beat Marcelo Rojo.
That's a good
And then
fight.
I feel like
That's an
it's a
easy
low
win, and
spot
then he beat
for
Eddie
Miles
Weidman.
Johns.
I don't know. What'd you say now?
It's like a low spot. Like this is like a low profile fight for
Right.
Miles Johns. I feel like he deserves something a little higher.
I mean, he's still early in his career. He's only
Correct.
had 13 pro fights, so maybe it is just like, hey, take what you can get.
I like him big
build
in
up
this
the
fight.
resume,
I think
but-
he's well rounded. I think he's got the ability to KO him and take him down. So that's just going to be a lethal combo. It's going to add up in the second round. I can easily see like 6 minutes of fighting. He figured him out, finished.
This might be way too bold of a statement, but I see a little bit of an early DJ in Miles Johns, just in his fight style.
Yikes.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, that's definitely way too bold of a statement, and we should probably move on to the next fight, but I'm just going to throw that out there. Who we got now?
All right, this fight's lit. We got Julian Juicy J Arosa, 26-9 out of the USA, taking on Steven Peterson, 19-9, also out of the USA. Tim, this is like when you go to this ratchet family party that just like goes bad, and like two dudes are gonna scrap in the middle, and you're like, yo, this is gonna be entertainment. This is like the fight. Like Arosa, 26-9, and has been in the UFC like 3 different times. Always finds a way to win or get knocked out. All-time entertainer. Yeah, I love this matchup.
I got a horrible thought. Isn't Steven Peterson the one who? Oh no, never mind.
He's
That was
one
Scott
super
Peterson
bad.
who killed his wife. Never mind.
Quit putting that on
Disagree.
people. Well, Neil, last time.
Yeah. I was like, is this
Yeah.
the dog murder?
No,
we
this
keep
is
doing
bad.
that, bro.
Just
We need to
putting
shit
shit
with
on
that
people.
shit.
Yeah,
No,
Scott Peterson is the guy, not Steven Peterson. Ignore me.
Nah, Steven Peterson's just you
Bro,
just look at him and you're like, that guy's tough.
I think Arosa should be the favorite here. Peterson's, bro, this is going to be a dogfight, though. I'm excited about this fight. I'll probably put my money on Arosa, but this fight is going to be dope. This is like two cousins that, like, at the family reunion are going to scrap at some point, and you're just, like, antagonizing it and getting them drunk.
Yeah, both of them showed up at 10 a.m. One had a pack of Busch Light, one had a pack of Bud Ice, and you were just like, okay, like by 3 o'clock, this is going down.
Yeah. No, and like I said, I'm going Arosa here.
It scares me that I'm on the same train. I feel like when I take
and
Arosa,
I will say these odds scare me too. We knew Arosa would be a favorite, but he is a minus 305 favorite. Plus 235 on Steven Peterson. Again, I don't really think that Steven Peterson's going to win this, but I think he's going to make it ugly.
What's this fight going to decision?
Oh, this ain't going decision.
This fight going the distance is minus 106. Not to go the distance, minus 125.
I was about to say.
So
Man,
I could see it sneakily going to a decision.
Scrapping, bro. I could see this being like a fight of the night. These motherfuckers going to town, and it's like, how the fuck is this going to decision here?
I got Peterson for 2 reasons. One, the value, at least from the gambling side of things, and 2, I grew up with his nephew Chris Peterson, and we go way back. So obviously pulling for Steven.
Oh my God, he brought a Chris Peterson reference out here. I'm done.
Jesus. Next fight.
All right, next fight. We got what was supposed to be a fight on the Ultimate Fighter. This is an all-timer for the Ultimate Fighter world. We got Brian Battle taking on 6-1 out of the USA, taking on Trayshawn Gore, 3-0, also out of the USA. 2 young, hungry, exciting prospects. I can't wait for this fight. What are we thinking? Opening bell thoughts.
Bro, this
I'm
fight's
pumped
so
for this one.
random. It's
What
like
do you mean?
I don't
it's
think
not,
it's random
it's
at
not
all.
random, but it's like these guys, like Gore has like literally fought less people than me in my life, and then
But he was the most impressive on that season.
no,
And
I
he
know
should have got his chance.
I'm like my head still says Gore's gonna win, but then Battle, I'm just like I've seen him fight more, but it's like I
will say, I don't
I'm
know.
going Gore, I guess.
Yeah. When I heard this fight was announced, I was 100% like, yo,
It's the
Trayshawn
Pooh
Gore
Bear,
is the
Brian
next
Battle.
guy.
Come on.
Like, he looks really good. Brian Battle was kind of a sort of doughboy middleweight, like, during the season, was just kind of, never looked like, an athletic specimen or anything. I just saw his last Instagram post. Dude, this guy is cut the fuck up. This guy has gotten ripped. Like, I know. I know.
Yeah, I'm telling you, bro.
It gets in my head.
Too much into this. The first 3 seconds I heard this fight announced, I was like, Trayshawn Gordon mop the floor.
And Trayshawn Gordon is coming in as
Mr. Vicious, bro.
Minus 167. And Brian Battles plus 130. But it does scare me because it gets me back into that Ultimate Fighter season when every single time Brian Battle was the underdog. And he just scrapped his way out.
Are they just trying to make the tough unwatchable? Like last season, they did 2 different weight classes. It was hella confusing. I didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Trash.
And then this season, instead of doing Colby Masvidal, they do Pena Amanda Nunes. Are they just trying to get it canceled and not make me not watch it?
Yeah.
I didn't even hear that announcement.
Yeah. It's like, bruh, what?
Because who cares?
You had the fucking gold in your hands, and you're just like,
That's weak.
We could probably name 10 better tough coaches.
Yeah.
Than that.
Yep.
Like shit, get Darren. I'd rather fucking Darren Till up in there. Like,
yeah, and no disrespect to Pena and Amanda Nunes. Like they're definitely like top notch people that I want to see fight.
Right. Yeah, I can't wait for that rematch.
I'd rather Wayley Rose.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm starting to think about it. If it depends how they go about it, I feel like I don't know.
I mean, there'll definitely be some bad blood, which will be great, but I don't know.
And why does Tough always have like the coaches of whichever they're coaching not even be in the same division? Like, why aren't you coaching? Why wasn't? Are they going to be coaching girls? Is this going to be a girl one? Like, I don't even know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something like, but hey, at the end of the day, UFC is an entertainment business, so I think the idea is like, oh, well, you don't want people to fight who they coached, but like, why wouldn't you?
That's perfect.
Oh, exactly. We want Cody to fight. Cody fight fucking McGregor later on the. You know,
who were the coaches last year?
Volk
Ortega.
Yeah,
and that was 45, and they had 55 and 85.
Yeah, it makes no fucking sense. And I'm like, this is like, why would you do 2 divisions to make it even more confusing? 1. And 2, you should have it be all in the same division. Like,
I also don't like that because like you win 1 fight and you're like in the finals.
It's way too quick. Because again, now we're sitting here talking about a guy like Brian Battle that I'm like, is he like the guy? He won 2 fights, and then
Gore's nickname is Mr. Vicious. Who do we got based off that?
Pooh Bear.
Pooh Bear.
Definitely Pooh Bear. What the fuck? You named yourself Pooh Bear? That's classic.
Pooh Bear sounds like
I'm all in on this guy now.
Pooh Bear, you're like, oh, it's just Pooh Bear. Don't worry about him. And it's like a 7-foot tall, huge motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. That's the name of like a sumo wrestler or something. Like, oh, it's just Pooh Bear. And it's like, oh, here he comes.
All right, so who do we got?
I got Gore, man. Well, I can see that. I'm not betting this fight. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, my mind's telling me Gore, but I'm leaning Battle and Pooh Bear. I don't know. Plus 130 on Brian Battle, minus 167 for Trayshawn Gore.
Well, I know who I'm betting in the next fight.
Wait, Gore is the underdog?
Gore's the favorite, minus 167.
Gotcha. Well, let's get on to your favorite.
Let's do it.
I know who I'm taking in this fight. We got the shitbag Sam Alvey, 33-16-1 out of the USA, taking on Brandon Allen, 17-5. All in Brandon Allen. I'm all in this week. We're hammering him. You can't lose 6 fights in a row in the UFC and act like you're the shit. Fuck you. Okay. We're out.
So were you just a troll and he called you out, and that's what's happening here?
Nope.
No.
So that's part of the reason for nil. That's not my reason. The reasons I hate Sam Alvey are legit. So I'll give y'all a little UFC history lesson. When the UFC, when some fighters started talking about unions and wanting to unionize and get more players' rights and collectively bargain, Sam Alvey was very outspoken and was a pacifier for the UFC. Like, no, we can't unionize. Don't union. This will kill us. Blah, 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 blah. And he just literally sucked the UFC's dick and did whatever the fuck they wanted and said whatever the fuck they wanted. He was basically their government signing up. He was their Ennis freedom. Just say whatever you want. Say what we want you to say. And he just carried their water. And now he has a lifetime contract. And he's, instead of, he has this lifetime contract, instead of fucking training, he's arguing with idiots like fucking Neil on Twitter. And he's not even doing it well. Like, I don't give a fuck if you got Twitter fingers.
That's why I'm mad at him.
He's just a salty little bitch. Like,
he clapped back shitty. And that's why I think he's an asshole.
So if he came back, if he snapped back in a cooler way, it would been
no doubt. I might have liked him. I might have been like, damn, he put me in my place. Like,
if
I
he
am
put
just in
Nil in a body bag, he'd be my favorite fighter. Like, what are you talking about? Like, that the trolling thing was just an aspect. I was like, wow, you're just a loser. Like, you're a loser in the cage, you're a loser on Twitter, and you're a loser in the fact of you're keeping the fighters and the fighters' rights and everything down just so you can make a couple bucks to keep fucking them happy so that you can benefit, not the fucking sport. So that's why I fucking hate Sam Alvey, and he can go fuck himself.
Well, let me tell you something interesting about this fight. First off, it's at light heavyweight. Brendan Allen usually fights at 185.
He's a bigger 185.
Sam Alvey, I think, bounces between a little bit. He'll take whatever. So that's one thing. Sam Alvey's going to be a little bigger here. 2, Brendan Allen's gotten knocked out by both Chris Curtis and Sean Strickland, who are both teammates of Sam Alvey. Will this be the third time Brendan Allen gets knocked out by someone in that gym?
Hey,
I don't think so. I personally don't. I think
just want to double check. Has this fight been pulled or anything? Because it's not on the sportsbook anymore. I mean, I'll still shit on Sam Alvey for another hour.
It was supposed to be Ian Heinisch was supposed to do the fucking hiding and the baptizing for this fight, and that would have been a proper one. But I'll take Brendan Allen anyways.
Let me check a different.
Yeah.
To see. Nope, it's still on Bovada.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Let me see.
Yeah, I mean, Brendan Allen should get it for sure.
Yeah. No, Brick, I won't stand for any Ennis Cantor slander in my presence, so you have to apologize.
You didn't even say his name right, you asshole. Dennis Freedom.
Dude, I'm respecting his heritage by calling him his original name. Obviously, dude, he's Mr. Freedom, but come on. No slander for Ennis, dude. But because you guys hate him, I'm big team Sam Alvey this week. I'm actually flying out to this fight. I'm going to be in his corner. So just to hope it ruins you guys' day, I'm big Sam Alvey. Let's go. Sammy boy, Sammy A, the big fucking guns is coming to town. Get ready.
He's smiling Sam. He always grins and smiles. Oh, I hate it.
We usually use Barstool Sports.
How could you hate a happy
since
guy?
they don't have it, I'm looking on Bovada, and it's plus 300 for Sam Alvey, minus 400 for Brendan Allen.
Love it.
That says a lot about what can probably happen.
Yeah, they're just giving him paychecks. That's it. Like, and honestly, at this point,
it's just
like
a punching bag.
You should be excited that he's still in there. You get to watch him keep losing.
Yeah, but at this point, it's not even fun. It's
I
fucking minus 400. I can't even make money off this shit.
The joke's over the second he gets cut, though.
Yeah, but at this point, he's not even respectable enough to get a fucking line so I can make some money off it.
Yikes.
Jesus.
And why is this the third? Or why is this on the third card? But
because he carries the water.
All right, next fight. I think this is going to be a murdering.
I need a smoke.
Everyone get your coffins out. Do that dance. This is going to be an absolute murdering. We got Shavkat Rakhmonov 14-0 taking on Carlston Harris 17-4. Sign seal delivered. Shavkat. That's what I feel in this fight.
I think that is the general consensus on this fight. But what Carlston Harris is not too shabby. I think he's going to have a good showing for himself. I still think Shavkat's going to win. I do. But I'm just saying Charleston Harris is not horrible.
These two statements aren't going to make sense. Shavkat's the truth. Give me Carlson Harris. Give me the plus 195. I don't know why. I just have a feeling. He just knocked out Kazanganai. I think Shavkat might overlook him a little bit, and this dude's dangerous.
Bro,
both of these guys are dangerous.
In that last fight was looking a little rough that first round. I remember against Michael Prazares. He was winning for sure. He won that fight in the second round, but that first round was like, whoa, hold on. He got rocked a little bit.
That's what I'm saying. And I think just like a little too much of the hype train, and I'm not saying that he can't be it, but I just don't see – I see 14-1. I really do.
Not only that, Carlston has –
when you put it like that, fucking hell. 14-1 and 18-4 makes a lot more sense than 15-0 and 17-5. And I don't like that.
At least you're willing to admit it.
I don't like that at all.
Yeah, I know you're newer to the podcast, Tim. That's kind of the Matty P way of thinking. He's just like, well, look at the records. What do you think
will be the future? Yeah.
I like that. Okay. Yeah, 14-1 just sort of smells right.
That's a good range.
I'm saying. Oh, fuck. All right, let's get in. Co-main event time?
Let's do it.
All right, we got Punahele Soriano, 8-1 out of the USA, taking on Nick Maximov, 7-0, also out of the USA. Maximov making his debut, former training partners of the Diaz brothers for a long time. Dude's got a crazy style to him. That's why he's in this slot. This is a pretty sick fight. This is one of those win, lose, or draw. I'll watch Soriano fight 8 days a week.
Yeah, no, right. And that's who I got winning this fight, to be honest. I got Soriano. Nick Maximov.
Really?
Yeah,
You're going against a Stockton guy? Or at least is trained in Stockton.
No, I mean, trust me, I like Maximov, but he's only like 24, dude. He can lose a fight. And I think Soriano is going to – they're both – so Maximov's way to success here – I actually did some research on this one. Maximov's way to win this is by getting it to the ground, getting a sub, or just making it ugly on the ground. Soriano's also a wrestler, but he just keeps it standing. So I think he's going to keep this thing standing, and I think on the feet, Soriano's going to have a good night here because his hands are nice.
Yeah. I think this is a brutal debut. To be perfectly honest.
Maximov had a fight.
Has he had a fight in the UFC?
UFC 266, I think. It says. Yeah, against Cody Brundage.
Okay. That's not a terrible fight.
Yeah, and he beat him.
I kind of want to take Maximov. I mean, I always blindly bet Diaz why not?
Because his last name isn't Diaz?
That's a great point.
But his first name's Nick. Does that matter?
That's also a great point. He's plus 160.
I don't know. What do we see? We see 8-0 Maximov or 9-1 Soriano, or do we see 8-2 Soriano, 8-0 Maximov?
Nick Diaz went on a pretty long undefeated streak till he caught his first L professionally.
I don't know. I see 9-1, 7-1 if we're just doing the number thing. I don't know. This smells differently to me. I see 9-1. It's 9-1, 7-1.
And like I said, Maximov's young too. He's 24. I think he's gonna need that learning experience fight soon.
Yeah.
So if it's not this fight, I feel like it's gonna be one of the next couple. So why not this?
Yeah, you always got to learn that lesson. But the only thing that is just poisoning my mind is the fact that he's trained with the Diaz brothers. We've seen how they train. He's been in a UFC fight before. He's been in multiple. They beat the shit out of each other. So if he survived that and still wants to fight, I don't know. He's got to have something.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, and I feel like there's a little pressure, an extra pressure, just being one of the Diaz boys. The Diaz brothers boys never seem to do that good. I remember Chris Alvia was one of their boys. He didn't last long in the UFC. So I don't know. That maybe is feeding into what I'm thinking here.
Yeah. Soriano minus 200 is kind of in that sweet spot of they know he's a favorite. It's right there.
Yep.
But let's do it. The main event.
We got the Joker, Jack Hermansson, 22-6 out of Sweden, taking on Sean Tarzan Strickland, 24-3 out of the USA. This is a middleweight fight. This is a good fight as well because the winner is going to get themselves a seat at the big dogs table, a seat at the contender table. They're going to have nothing but high-profile fights after this, and that's why I'm excited. Plus, how they fight, too, is a whole different level. Sean Strickland will be in there and talk shit to you the entire 15 minutes, or in this case, 25 minutes. I don't think he's going to stop. This guy's an absolute psycho. Kind of gives me vibes of Tony Ferguson in a way, but like a different way. He's a savage. But Hermansson's nothing to be slept on. Absolute grappling ace, well-rounded to a degree. This is a dangerous fight for both guys. What do we got?
That's the thing is I do think, at least just how I've heard on Twitter and just kind of the general feel on this fight, like I think Hermansson's kind of being slept on a bit. And like, yeah, he does have 6 losses. We get that. But his only losses in the last 5 years were to Thiago Santos, Jared Cannonier, Marvin Vettori, and Khamzat Chimaev. Like, and Khamzat was a wrestling match. It wasn't even an official UFC match. So he's only had 3 losses in the UFC to basically everyone who's either been in a number 1 contender fight or fought for the title. So I think Hermansson's at least being slept on in that. And I don't think that the Sean Strickland, like, shit talking and mind games is going to mess with him. So I think Sean Strickland has to purely beat him with skill. And that's where I think this fight gets a lot more even.
Yeah, I mean, here's some little background for you. So Sean Strickland trains with Marvin Vettori very close. They're boys. Also, Sean Strickland trained a lot with Khamzat when Khamzat comes to the U.S. And after seeing his grappling exchange, Sean Strickland was like, with Khamzat, he got a lot more confident. Let's just say that. Mm-hmm. I think if Hermansson can't hold him down, which I don't think he can, I think Sean's a tricky guy on the ground, is what everyone says. He's like not known for the ground, but he's tricky and he's hard to keep down. I see this being a stand-up trading back and forth, and because Sean is not the type, I feel like I don't see him getting knocked out or subbed. I feel like the safest bet, I think, is going to decision here. I think they're both tough enough to weather each other's storm.
And that's kind of where I think I like Hermansson a little bit, where, yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to just take him down and hold him, but I do think he could get 4 to 5 takedowns throughout this fight. And if this is going to be a decision and it is going to be kind of close, and I don't know if Strickland has quite enough to put him – I mean, he could put him out, but I don't think he's going to. Like, Hermansson has a pretty good chin that – I could just see those takedowns kind of adding up on the judges' scorecard. And even though maybe Strickland outstrikes him, like, we get ugly on the judges. So that's where I think there's some value in Hermansson.
Get him against the cage a lot, use the work that time and get it in his realm. But even then, like I said, if Sean can replicate Marvin Vettori, which they trained very closely with, that's where it gives me that
that's the one that scares me more. If he's saying that he was confident after the grappling exchange with Khamzat, that almost gives me a little more confidence on the Hermansson side, because Sean Strickland ain't fucking Khamzat, especially
but they do. I guess
I know they do work together.
And scores between them, I guess, are wild.
I'm sure, but you can't sleep on a fighter from then. You know, like the MMA mat don't work like that. You can't
And it was freestyle wrestling. It wasn't a full grappling match. You know, everything wasn't used there. And Jack Hermansson is a better grappler than a freestyle wrestler, whatever it is. So,
no doubt.
Yeah, I agree. I just think if they do stay most of the time on the feet, that's going to favor Sean. If they spend more time up against the cage and on the ground, it'll favor Hermansson. I think it should be a closer fight, though. I do think the odds aren't respecting Hermansson. So
Sean Strickland's coming in as a -2.
Keep going.
Yeah, Sean Strickland coming in as a -230 favorite. Jack Hermansson coming in at +185.
So much.
That's
value.
where just like
so much.
I think Sean Strickland's just a little too hype train for me, and I think it's a lot of this like he's gone. And I mean, credit to Sean Strickland. He's marketed himself well. He's good on Twitter. He's always talking shit during the fights. Like those clips go viral. Like, and he is 24-3. I'm not saying he hasn't like earned his way here, but Jack Hermansson been around the block twice, you know? So
Right.
you can't sleep on that. And if you think that they're going to be, I don't know.
What's it
I
going
just
the
see
distance?
Let me check the odds.
I think the pace and the pressure of Sean Strickland and just always being in your face and just 1-2s until you fucking kill him
Bro,
is going to be way too
quick,
much.
right? He's like a fucking one of those robots, bro. He just
Yeah,
bang, bang.
just all day. He's just going to be throwing 1-2, 1-2-3, 1-2, 1-2, just the whole fucking 25 minutes. I think it's going to be too much for Hermansson. If you can't take him
I
down,
do too.
the volume is just going to melt him. I could see a 4th round stoppage, but I could also see a 5-round decision.
Yeah, I think Strickland decision is my bet, but
Fight
like I
to
said,
I'm not
the
really a
distance-
fan of Strickland, too.
Yeah, fight to go the distance is -106. Strickland by decision is +185. So if you're really high on that, you can definitely get some.
no,
extra juice
I'm
there.
really high on decision, but I could see Jack squeaking a decision out and fucking up my bets. So I don't know, you know, because like I said, Jack could get it on the ground and steal a round or 2 or 3. Shit. Yeah, I just like going to decision. That's going to be my parlays, and then I'll keep Strickland aside.
Yeah, I don't hate that little -106. What's your final take, Tim, before we go?
Yeah, I think this is a type of one where I don't dislike either guy. I think I respect both of them, and I think I'm going to go with Jack just based off the value because I think it's a winnable fight for him, and I feel like, you know, again, that whatever you said, +190, +200 type thing, like there's a reason this is the main event for a pretty solid card. So I'll probably put my money on Jack and probably lose that.
I'm with you. All right there.
Number 6 versus number 7 in the division, main event. Thanks for anyone who fucking
Yeah, it
listened,
seems
stayed this
closer. It
long.
seems like the line should be closer.
Let's go.
No doubt. Much love. We out.